Last episode, you saw me get started with the build of my welding cart. I am very excited for my Toyota Land Cruiser project, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was moving slower because I couldn't get my welder, my plasma cutter, all the cables, the gas bottle in the right spot when I needed it every time for this project to work efficiently. Last episode, we essentially got to the point where we had a metal table with a handle on it. Now let's increase the storage capacity and the structure of this thing and throw some wheels under it to make it a true welding cart. Well, my saw failed to cut through this. I don't know if I already ruined a saw blade or what. If you know what's going on with my saw blade, it seems like it already is just dull. It's screeching, super loud noise whenever I touch metal. That's a new saw blade. So I don't know if I did something wrong or what. I'm not that familiar with like saw blades and cutting metal in that way, but since it wouldn't obey me, I decided to use my lightsaber and chop it. I wanted 45-degree angles, and I want to stick them in the corners. This is going to be where the wheel's mounted, so I want the wheels to be mounted just on these in the corners. So my saw just, I don't know what's going on with my saw blade. If you guys know, super high shrieking noise, doesn't really get, this is how deep it got. You can see the video here. I'm actually not going to clean those edges up very much. It's not really going to matter. Still fits in the corner, still able to cover these gaps. It's not going to be huge gaps. So I'm just going to weld it in the corner, but I am going to take off some of this sort of material that they use. When you buy raw steel, you don't have this shiny stuff, you get this gray stuff. So I'm gonna take some of that off so it welds a little better. But yeah, if you know what's going on with my saw blade, I'm not all that familiar with saw metal cutting. So if you know, let me know. You know, I was prepared to use this piece of steel for the last corner to hold the wheel, but really this is actually 1/2 inch steel. I was thinking about using it, but I think it'll bug me. I think I'd rather use 1/4 inch steel. I'm out of the same size, same dimensions this way of 1/4 inch, but I do have some sheets of 1/4 inch like this. I think I'm going to just cut out the same shape with a plasma cutter. Again, it won't matter if it's wiggly. I have one guaranteed straight side, so I'm gonna make my last one out of the sheet. Let's cut it. I'm just gonna put the piece that I just cut up against my steel sheet that I have, my 1/4 inch. I'm just gonna do a little trace of it. Close enough. You know, when I look at this cutout, I think, wow, that's ugly. And then, I don't know, I hold it up against my previous ugly one. That's pretty good. I can live with that. Let's see if it fits. Oh yeah, that'll work just fine. Cool. Problem solved. Ooh, still hot, still hot. All right, I gave that the wire wheel a little bit. I've got all 4 wheel mounts on. Let's put the wheels through the holes and see how it rolls. It's pretty heavy. see I've got my accessory bar, hanger bar, clothes bar. I don't know what I'm gonna call that. Anyway, I have it welded up to the front underneath the push handle where we're gonna push the cart. It's gonna have my hood, my jacket, maybe gloves if I can figure something out with that. But I want to do, right now my thought is a series of small hooks out of something like this. I have some thin, in this way, 1/8 inch steel, so just flat bar. A little piece like this would be perfect. So just weld the hook straight onto that and have it go 90 degrees out, 90 degrees up. Hang the welding jacket on it, whatever. And then it can kind of be, that space can be used by something that takes up a lot of space but doesn't interfere with my access to the welder, the plasma cutter, the cables out of the back, anything like that. They can hang up right here in front of me as I push the cart. Now, as for actually bending these hooks, I could use the plasma cutter and chop these off one at a time, weld them back together as 90 degrees. I recently got rid of my manual brake from Harbor Freight, my 36-inch manual brake. I sold that on Facebook Marketplace because the thickness of steel that it's able to bend is just not enough for me. I need to be able to bend 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. I'm gonna be doing pieces for frame, for custom bumpers, things like that. Things that affect the vehicle's performance and really need to be weight bearing. I need them to be really strong. I need to be able to bend that thickness of metal. So just bending sheet metal is not enough for me. It's just not, I need more capacity than that. Anyway, for this, so I do want to bend this. I'm gonna try to put this in my vise that's on my workbench and just hammer it straight up rather than cut, weld, cut, weld. I'm gonna actually try to bend this, and if it doesn't work, we'll go the long, tedious route. But for now, I'm gonna try to grab a hammer and we're gonna try to bend this up 90 degrees. That'll work. Wow, lovely, look at that. That worked pretty well. It's probably not gonna turn out to be the most beautiful symmetrical bend ever, but it'll definitely hold a jacket. I wanted to round that off. Just so I don't, you know, pull holes in my stuff or damage my welding hood in any way. But I've rounded that off. Let's put it back on. I eyeballed that one a little more than I should have. That'll work. Trying to decide what things I'm actually going to hang from these, and if I'm going to just do 4 generic hangers, or am I going to designate some of these hangers for specific things? Because I'm thinking about doing some sort of clip for gloves so I can put them together, have kind of like one of those old school snack bag clamps here, you know? Almost kind of like a clamp that's welded here. I open the clamp, I clip my gloves right there, and I'm on my way. Or do I do 4 hooks and just let myself throw them whatever hook it lands on? All right, guys, check this out. Our cart is on wheels and it rolls really smoothly. All 4 wheels are castered, so I'm able to spin this around. I can push it sideways. I can push it directly toward you. I can push it directly toward me. This is nice because I can push this, say at the end of a long day, I have limited space along my shop wall. Remember, this shop it's nice, I love it, but it's only 24 by 36. So I do need to be smart about how I use my space because I have limited space in the shop, especially with things like that truck bed. I have multiple vehicles in here. I have to store things in a clever fashion. I can't just throw things wherever I want. So this thing has the ability with four-castered wheels to push directly into a spot on the wall without having to kind of parallel park it between shelving or whatever I have. I just got back from the hardware store. I bought a $1 rubber strap. This will hold my gas bottles on this side. So we have our 1/4-inch plate on this side. I will attach a ring to both sides, and the rubber strap will stretch around our 2 bottles. I don't have a TIG bottle yet, but gas for MIG is right there. I'm gonna put that here, put the other bottle here. A rubber strap will hold them into place. But how will we get a D-ring? You know what? I actually thought that I would be able to get a steel D-ring with no problem. I went to the store, I went to 2 different stores, and I thought this is gonna be easy. If nothing else, I'll get one in the sort of section that you find trailer parts in, where people build their own trailers or repair their own trailers. The sort of tie-down points, those D-rings that you find, even in a lot of vehicles, they have these tie-down point D-rings. I could not find anything like that anywhere, especially things that were weldable steel. So I went to my hardware store and they sell chains, length of chains that you can cut off. I reached in their sort of scrap bucket for chains, and I pulled out some zinc plated steel chain waste, really, scrap. I'm gonna grind what I can of this zinc plate off, and I'm gonna try to weld it. I'm gonna see if it welds okay, and if it does, I'm gonna use this as the attachment point for my strap. So this strap will, hopefully, this little length of scrap chain will weld right here on these 2 points, and I can use the strap to go in between them. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I've never ground off zinc plate before, but I'm about to try. Also, if you didn't see, our auxiliary hooks here that I hang my things on turned out really good. I have 3. My final idea from the hardware store, I went to the welding section. I bought this grounding clamp. This was originally my idea for the gloves. So to have a grounding clamp or something like it that is just attaches right here, and it would allow me to open them up, put my gloves in, let go, and then my gloves would hang right there. I, for some reason, didn't think about how giant this grounding clamp is. It's definitely not gonna fit right there. So, I don't really know what to do about that, but we'll figure that out. But this is the idea. Something like this that would attach right here and allow me to clip my gloves in, and that's where they would hang. I still might not give up on that. We'll see. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. So with our scrap chain pieces, I guess let's go ahead and try to grind the zinc plate off, at least from this point where we're gonna be welding. I don't know. If you know how this is gonna go, take your guess. But I'm gonna try to grind it off and then weld it. Here we go. If there's no way this is gonna work and you think I'm stupid, let me know in the comments. Also, just keep in mind, this is free. This was in the scrap bin, so. Whew. Wow, that's hot. Okay, everybody, this is not the end of this video, but it is the end of my night. It's about 11 p.m. here, and I didn't get to work on this as much as I would have liked today, but for the little amount of time that I did get to work on it, we actually made some really good progress. I'm happy with where we got on this cart today. At the beginning of the day, this was just a metal table sitting on the ground in my shop, but Today we got to weld on the wheel mounts, the diagonal wheel mounts at the bottom. We put the wheels in. Now this thing can roll around smoothly in any direction in my shop, as you know, with our castered wheels. These castered wheels even have locking brakes, which is excellent. That'll keep us from drifting into the cruiser one day. And what else? Let's see. What do we agree on in this? Is this the clothing bar, the auxiliary bar, the accessories bar, whatever. This is gonna hold our welding helmet, our welding jacket, our weird medieval welding hood that keeps welding spatter from catching my hair on fire. And also there's a fourth spot for my welding gloves. I don't have a good established solution yet, but as a proof of concept, I wanted a clamp to hold my gloves so I could just clip my gloves in whenever I'm done welding. And then when I'm ready to weld once more, I can open the clamp, get my gloves out, and the clamp will stay on the cart like that. I wanted something I could weld to the cart. I just wanted to see if, I was at my local hardware store, I wanted to see if this would work. It's a little too long, so it doesn't fit comfortably up under this handle, but we'll get something similar. I'd like something that's shorter this way and wider this way. But anyway, proof of concept for the glove storage. On the other side of the cart, we welded on some D-rings for these rubber straps. These are rubber straps I found at Walmart in a 2-pack for about $1.50, and they're gonna hold our gas bottles to the cart. Now, most of the time when I see welding carts like this, they hold the gas bottles with some sort of chain. That's what I would say is most common. Nothing wrong with a good chain. I just think about the noise of metal on metal from time to time. If I'm rolling through the shop and say that chain's not really taut across that bottle, or say I only have a MIG bottle. Right now I don't have a bottle to TIG weld, so I'm gonna have CO2 argon mix and then pure argon. Those two bottles right here, but right now I only have one. So a loose chain is definitely gonna rattle and aggravate me. So I have this rubber strap, which is not gonna make any noise. And it's the cheapest solution. Again, $1.50 or so for 2 of them. And what else? Bungee cords, I guess, are another solution. Nothing wrong with a bungee cord. I appreciate the practicality of a good bungee cord. I have some bungee cords right over there. They're a good thing. But I didn't want to use one just because they can look a little tacky. And I like the way this rubber strap looks. So yeah, rubber straps, easy, cheap, silent. So I went with a rubber strap. Now, I don't know what's really next on this thing. I don't have an immediate idea, but we do need to store some small things like, I'd like to store things like this, paint marker, magnets. So we still need things that are probably gonna end up going in a drawer. Maybe we'll make a drawer tomorrow. I'm not sure. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have to wait a full night to figure out what we're gonna do next, but you don't. So enjoy whatever we're doing next. Hey, look at that. Guess what? I just found this piece of angle iron that I didn't know I had. Awesome. Maybe we can use this, since I don't have any real flat bar that would work. That'll work. We could use this as sort of a longitudinal rib to help out with the sheet metal holding the plasma cutter and the welder. Maybe we'll go this way. Yeah, if we go this way. So angle iron always kind of inherently has this V shape to it. That gives us 2 sort of rib point of contacts for the sheet metal to sit on. That would do well to hold these 2 machines up. Cool. Plus I already had it laying around the shop. I'm a huge fan of using things that are laying around the shop already. Kind of frees up money and frees up space. I'd rather have it used on this project and not buy more metal and get it out of the shop, as in using it for something useful rather than letting it sit back there and not having a purpose for a long time. So cool. Let's put this piece of angle iron in, and then we'll lay our sheet metal on top. We'll weld that in, and then we'll have the welder and the plasma cutter on the cart for the remainder of this project. That'll be very exciting. What a good opportunity to organize the shop before we're even done. Made one fatal slip when he tried to match the Ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. All right. This sheet metal that I bought from Home Depot, I decided that my plasma cutter was a little too much trouble to set up. So I went to do it with my angle grinder and a cutoff wheel, and I kind of botched it a little bit. So I cut it really crooked. What I'm gonna do is tack it in and then cut even with the actual welding cart. So I messed up this side, made it kind of crooked, but that's fine. I'll just uncrooked it by cutting this side down whenever we tack it together. I'll know exactly where the edges are. So, sorry. Now an important note here, this is 16 gauge steel, this sheet metal. So I had to dial my settings, had to tell my welder that I'm going for 16 gauge. I've never had a welder that just does it. I've always had really cheap, bad welders, so this is cool. What? Battery. All right, that's the back bar here. Nice and strong. It's welded on both sides. It's a thicker plate too. Man, that is stout. Cool, we got our back bar on. I'm not sure if that's gonna hold our cables from the plasma cutter and the welder, or if it's gonna be where we hang all of our welding wire. So our 11-pound MIG spools might go on here, and you know, that could add up to 44, 55 pounds, whatever. So this is a really thick bar, really solid. So that might be where we put our MIG wire. I'm thinking I might do a vertical support right here. I'm not sure. We could do another horizontal for now. And then we could definitely have our plasma cutter and welder cables, and then our MIG spools. This is a big moment for me. We're about to put the machines on this platform where they belong, and that's the whole point of this cart, right? To carry around my machines and get them to their outlets or wherever they need to be in a smooth, easy way. I'm about to put the machines here, the gas bottle right here, and from now on this project, they're gonna be sitting where they're gonna be for the long term. So here we go, I'm gonna put my machines where they go. Nobody move. Well, not bad progress. Not bad. Well, guys, we got our machines on the cart. We got our bottle secured. Feels nice. Rolls really well. The casters flip around nicely. I am going to be spoiled and luxury doing my projects now. This handles so well. Nice and smooth. You know, another thing, it's quiet. Feels really well made. Good job, me. How cool. Once the third and final episode of my cart build is totally done, once the cart is completely built, we're gonna be able to take on some pretty big welding projects. And the first place I'm gonna wheel that cart is right over here to my diesel 80 series Toyota Land Cruiser. It needs some frame welding from about the wheel arches back. It's got a little bit of rust, nothing we can't handle. Once the Cruiser is free of rust, lifted, and back on its own four legs, we're gonna pull my 1963 Unimog into the shop and turn it into the ultimate global overlander. And by that, I mean visiting countries around the world, Iceland, Australia, all around Africa in that thing. We're gonna turn it into the ultimate worldwide overlander. And we got a bunch of other projects. I have this huge truck bed that sits in my shop. You've probably seen it on my videos. Drives me bonkers, takes up so much space in my shop, but it's for my OBS Ford 7.3 Power Stroke, my F250. It's a 5-speed manual. This truck bed just sits in here and takes up space. I hate it, and for that reason, I want to install this on my current OBS Ford with rusty wheel arches. So I need to replace the bed, and then I actually, believe it or not, this shop is set up pretty well to be a functional paint booth. I haven't painted a full car in here yet, but I would love to christen this paint booth by painting my Power Stroke, not white like it is right now, but red. I would love to paint my 7.3 Power Stroke, go from white to red. I've always wanted a 7.3 Power Stroke OBS 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive, red truck. And if I paint this red, I will have exactly that. So you may see a 7.3 Power Stroke in the shop pretty soon. So Cruiser, Mog, 7.3 Power Stroke, the Defender has something going on right now. You'll see that soon. All my vehicles have something to complain about right now. So stick around, there's something for you, whether you like overlanding or off-roading or shop vehicle repairs or weird vehicle history. There's a vehicle that maybe I should bite my tongue, but there's a vehicle that I have considered pursuing just on the basis of it being the most awesome vehicle history I can think of. And it is not a 4-wheel drive or an overlander or a truck or even diesel, but the vehicle history makes me want the thing so bad. Okay, anyway, so all those things, even if you don't enjoy vehicles, if you just like the shop sort of fabrication welding side of it, just tinkering with things like that, stick around. If you're here for this, if you're here for that, if you're here for the Power Stroke, whatever you like, we've got it. So stick around, stick with me, subscribe. Let's get this thing off the ground so that I can do this more often. And if you subscribe, like, comment, we can get this thing rolling and grow the channel to be big enough that I don't have to have a job that makes me work forever all the time. Then these projects can be more often and they can really get crazier. The entertainment value will go up a lot if I can do this, if I can dedicate more of my free time to doing this. So stick around, help me grow this thing, and we'll see some seriously cool projects in the shop. All right? Thanks for watching. Thanks for visiting the Forge. See you next time.